Hello, my name is Joy. Welcome to Yoga Fury's online platform. Today we're here for a power yoga, power vinyasa class. We're going to be focusing in on the hips and the glutes, and the idea of being able to build some strength and stability, but also let go of some tension in that area. But let's begin nice and comfortable, nice and still, in seated. If you know you often need a brick or a block for your hands to help you reach the floor, perhaps at least having one available today might help. You can manage without if you don't have one. Okay, settling yourself in, maybe shuffling from side to side, feeling the weight of both sitting bones equally through the floor. Find a place of stillness, while your body feels quiet. And while we're here, check in with what's going on in your body. Are there any areas where you can let go? Are you holding tension anywhere that doesn't need to be held in order to stay in this seated position? So that might feel like it's in your feet or your ankles. Perhaps your inner thighs can let go. Perhaps you can find some softness in the belly. Maybe it's the shoulders. Maybe it's the jaw. Or even your tongue. Maybe you're noticing something else altogether, and you can just let it go without there being any negative impact on remaining in this seated posture. I'm going to work a little bit with the pelvic floor. So trying to keep those areas that tend to sneak back into tension, keep them relaxed as if you can. Draw your awareness down into your pelvic floor, so right at the base of your pelvis, where your two sitting bones are meeting the mat. Imagine the pelvic floor as this network of muscles across the base of your pelvis. And then actually, I say imagine, it is, and then actually there's a lot more to it than the rudimentary idea of just using it to go to the toilet. So imagine you could squeeze the two sitting bones towards each other. It might be that your glutes start to kick in then. Try to keep them relaxed and get a sense that although there's no actual physical, obvious movement of them drawing together, that you could draw your sitting bones together. Do this with your breath. So breathe in, and as you breathe out, find that gentle squeeze inwards from side to side into the center of your two sitting bones. Play with that idea for a couple of breaths. On your exhale, accentuating that squeeze. On your inhale, let it go. And then we'll do the same in that bony part at the front of the pelvis, so the tailbone at the back of the pelvis. Get the same idea, that you could perhaps squeeze front to back. Again, doing it with your breath, so taking an inhale, maybe inhaling all the way down deep into your pelvis, and exhaling, find that gentle squeeze front to back. If that's working for you, you're getting a sense of that. Let's work with all of those sensations together, side to side, front to back. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, draw that whole area in and up. If you're struggling to find this, don't worry too much. It's there. Sometimes it just takes a while to tap in. Inhale right down deeply into your pelvis. Exhale, drawing everything up. Let it go. Notice if any areas of tension have crept back in to where they were before, those little patterns that we notice in our bodies. Let it go. And then let's start moving. So come into all fours on your mat. With your wrists over your shoulders, spread your fingers wide. Take your right leg up behind you. Keep your knee bent, so keep it at a right angle and flex your foot as if there were a plate on your foot. Why you'd do that, I have no idea, but if they were, you wouldn't want to drop it. Push the floor away with your hands, keep your belly firm, and with a very subtle movement, gently kick your foot up towards the ceiling, as if you could push the ceiling away and lower it back to where it was. Slow, gentle movements of kicking your foot up towards the ceiling and bringing it back down to level with the rest of your body. Keep your right hip drawing down, so we're not opening at the pelvis here, we're just lifting the knee up behind. One more time, push it up, hold it there, keep your belly firm, not arching into the back here. As you breathe out next, bring your knee into your nose or your forehead, squeeze them together. Inhale your foot up and back. Flex your foot again, one more push. And then as you extend your leg behind you, plant your foot on the floor past your left foot. Let the heel land as well, so you're on the inside of your foot. And then open your right arm up, sweep it open towards the ceiling, and then over, above your head. Inhale here, drive your right foot down, reach through your right fingertips. And then maybe step your right foot back a bit more behind you. Open your chest a bit more and your armpit towards the ceiling. Breathing out, sweep your arm back down, come back into all fours. Let's take the other side, so your left leg up behind you with the knee bent and the foot flexed. Belly strong, chest forwards through your arms just a little bit. Taking care not to arch into your upper back, into your lower back, or to lift your left hip. Slow, gentle pulses of your knee and your foot, as if you could push the ceiling away behind you. And then take one last one here. As you next breathe out, forehead into your knees, squeeze them together for as much squeeze as you can here. And then inhale, let your foot go up and back behind again. Knee bent, foot flexed. One more push up towards the ceiling. Hold it here. Don't be arching into your lower back. Keep your belly firm. And then extend your leg. Plant your left foot down on the inside of your left foot. Sweep your left arm up, overhead towards the ceiling, and then over your head towards the front of the room. Ground down into your left foot. Maybe stepping your left foot back behind you, opening your chest a little bit more and looking up towards the ceiling. And then as you breathe out, bring your hand back down, bring your knee back down. Okay, tuck your toes behind you. Lift your hips up and back, down facing dog, our first one. Quick feel into the legs, bending alternate knees. And then walk your feet towards your hands at the front of your mat so you're in a forward fold. Bend your knees deeply, really deeply, so your belly is stuck to your thighs right now. Draw your chest forwards. Now keep your hips, your legs exactly where they are as you come up into chair pose. Lift just your chest and your arms. Keep your lower belly firm so that maybe your tailbone tucks under just a little. Mine has a tendency to stick out, a lot of people does the same. So just tuck that tailbone as if you could charge it down to the mat behind you. Lift your chest. Squeeze your heels up towards your bum. Really switching on the back of your legs as if your heels are lifted off the floor. As you breathe out, legs fold forwards again, belly to thighs, hands to the mat. Keep your belly on your thighs as you lift your hips. So it might be that your knees stay more bent than you're used to. So that's fine. We're sitting back down into our chair. Do that through squeezing your heels towards your bum. When you've gone as far as you want to, chest and arms up only. Belly firm, tuck your tailbone, lift your chest. Sit down a bit more deeply. As you inhale next, come up to standing. Step your feet a little wider, turn your heels in just a little, palms together. Inhale. Exhale, sit down into our yoga squat, Vinyasa squat. With your elbows inside your knees, hands into prayer at your chest. Now for a lot of people, you might find that your heels are lifted. If there's no pain, that's okay. You can always pop a brick underneath the backs of your heels, ideally a flat on this or a book, to support them if there is discomfort. Otherwise, just stay here, lift your chest.
Corkscrew your feet apart, away from one another, to open your hips a little bit more. Can you find anywhere here that you can let go? Keep your chest lifted. Turn your toes away from one another. Brace through your legs. We're going to come up to standing, push into your thighs. Inhale, come up, sweep your arms up overhead, step your feet back together, bend your knees as you forward fold, back down, belly to thighs. From here, then lift your hips, but keep the bend on your thighs. Relax your neck. Okay, from here, take your right foot, step it back long onto your mat, so we're in a low lunge position here. Squeeze your inner thighs together, inhale, lift your chest, high lunge. Sit down more deeply, lift your chest, open it up towards the ceiling. Breathe in, breathe out, charge your chest forward, sweep your arms back behind you to our arrowhead. Squeeze your two legs towards one another, so as if you were dragging your left heel back. Push into your right toes to charge your right hip forwards, chest forwards. Inhale, reach up, high lunge. Exhale, swivel onto the heel of your right foot. Sweep your arms apart into warrior two. Sink down into your hips. Inhale. Exhale, left elbow to left thigh, right arm up overhead into extended side angle pose. Straight line from heel, two fingers. Draw your belly in, twist your body open. And perhaps if you're quite open in the hips, you'd like to take your hands down just inside your foot, but with no weight in your arm. And if that means that you're bending into your body to get there, then come up a bit higher. Find that nice straight line. On your next exhale, sweep your arms down, walk them to the centre of the mat, turn your toes in, wide-legged forward fold here. So maybe you've got your knees quite bent to draw your chest forwards. Lift your thighs, lift your hips, and fold forwards. Perhaps you need a brick or two for your hands here to keep a nice straight back. That's completely fine. So squeeze your thighs, turn your sitting bones up towards the ceiling. And squeeze your inner hips to draw you a little bit deeper. And try lifting your pelvic floor here. That drawing in from side to side, front to back, have a go. See what it does to this posture. If you've got a brick, just let it go. Bring your hands back to the mat, lift your chest. As you inhale, if you've got back issues, walking your hands up. Otherwise, arms out at shoulder height, sweep them up overhead. Turn your heels in, toes out. Yogi squat, sit down, knees tracking out with your toes, elbows down into cactus arms, lift your chest, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sit down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sit down. Inhale, reach forward, sweep your arms forwards, drop your chest down. Keeping length through your spine, sit your hips down, lower your chest. And lift your hips just a fraction to perhaps bring your pelvis in line with your back. Reach forward, sit down deeper with the body and the hips. Inhale, come on up. Turn your toes in. Exhale, fold forwards, back issues. Walk your hands down, support yourself. Take your hands and your body over towards your left leg. And twist over back towards the front of your mat into a low lunge. Step your foot forwards, forward fold. Turn your sitting bones up towards the ceiling. Squeeze your thighs, sink your heels down. Plant your hands onto the floor, lift your chest, step your left foot back into lunge position. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other as you breathe in, lift your chest, lift your arms. Draw your glutes back to stretch into the front of your left hip. Just a bit more. Inhale here. Exhale, sweep your arms back behind you, draw your chest forward, arrowhead. As if you could take off from here into a sprint. Squeeze your right heel, back, push into your left foot, draw your left hip forwards, chest forwards. Inhale next, rise up high lunge. Exhale, swivel open onto your left, sole of your left foot with your toes turned in just a bit. Arms down at shoulder height, warrior two. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, right elbow, right thigh, left arm, up and overhead, nice straight line. Push into your left heel. Turn your knees apart from one another to open your pelvis a little bit more. And if you're going for a little bit more here, you want to bring your hand down inside the foot, then go for it. But do that through sinking the hips, not through arching the body. Belly in, open up. Next breath out, sweep your hands down, walk them back to the centre of the mat, turn your toes in. Come up onto your fingertips, lift your chest. Fold forwards. Thighs tight, turn your sitting bones up towards the ceiling. Maybe play with lifting your pelvic floor. And perhaps you've got your brick here underneath your hands. As you breathe out next, fold back down slightly, walking your hands up if you're dealing with back stuff, otherwise arms out, shoulder height, chest forwards, come all the way up. Inhale, arms up overhead, heels in, toes out. Got it. Sit down, wide squat. Knees over your ankles, pointing in the same direction as your toes. Draw your knees apart, maybe use your hands to open up the thighs. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sit down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sit down. Inhale, forwards. Chest forward, straight back. Exhale, sit down. Chest down. Now hips up an inch. Feel like your body is in line, hips to crown of your head. And then as you sink down next, the whole body comes down, not just the hips. Lovely, juicy feeling in the legs here. As you inhale, come on up. Hands come down, turn your toes in. As we fold forwards once again, lower back, walk your hands down. Bring your hands back to the mat. Walk them over towards your right ankle. And fold your body in towards your right leg. And then taking your hands either side of your front foot, stepping in into your forward fold. Pause here. Take a breath. Relax your neck. Okay, here we go. A little bit different this time. Got a few variations. In fact, it's quite different. Similar concept. So squeeze your heels in towards your bum. Sit your hips down, knees forwards. Inhale into your chair. Hips stay up. Chest up. Exhale, fold forwards, belly to thighs before you lift your hips. I'm just going to turn around so you can see what I'm doing here. So plant your left hand onto the mat, underneath, sort of in front of you, underneath your shoulders. And then take hold of your big toe, your right big toe with your right middle and index finger. As you inhale, lift your right leg up and out to the side. Draw your chest forwards. Maybe your knee needs to be bent, that's fine. Lift your foot and bring it back to the center. Squeeze your heels in towards your bum. Keep your hips low. Chair. And then we go for half chair pose. So take your right leg. Cross it over your left. Hook your ankle sort of above your knee and flex your foot. And then sit down into your chair. Bring your hands down into prayer. Lift your chest, draw your belly in, sit down. Keep your foot flexed. Sit down a little bit deeper, open your right knee out to the side. As you next breathe in, sweep your arms up. Step back, not into high lunge, it's time to warrior one, so allow your right foot to release down towards the mat. Your right heel, sorry. And draw your right hip forward so that your hips are parallel with one another. Chest up, arms back. From here, have a brick available if you want it. We're going to come into warrior three. So reach forwards with your hands. They're going to meet the mat in front of your feet, or the brick. Bricks, possibly too. Step forwards, float your back foot, draw your chest forwards. Left thigh tight. Flex your right foot, lift your chest forwards. And if you want a little bit more, reach your arms forwards too. Chest forwards, arms up. Lift your right foot. Now bring your hands down, left hand to the floor or to a brick. Open your right hip, open your hips to the right. Left arm, your right arm, I apologise, reaches up towards the ceiling. Open your chest. Half moon here. And then bend your right knee. Reach back with your right hand, take hold of your ankle. Open your chest again to the side, open your hips. Kick into your right hand to open the front of the right hip. Lift your chest, kick into your hand. Release it back into your warrior three, maybe with your hands onto bricks. And then from here, sweep that right foot through. Just your feet if you need to, like I just did. Wrap your right leg around your left. Bring your hands out in front of you. Left arm underneath the right, wrap your forearms. Lift your elbows and your hands away from your face. Sit down, squeeze your thighs together and sit down here. And then step back, unravel, right leg back behind you into a high lunge. Interlace your fingers, lift your chest. Hands behind you. As you breathe out, hands back down to the mat. Step forwards into your forward fold. And we'll do that all on the other side. So just pause here in your forward fold. With your belly on your thighs, sitting bones turning up to the ceiling. And perhaps taking hold of your big toes, bending your elbows and folding your way in a little bit deeper. Okay. Release your hands if you've got hold of your feet. Bend your knees, hips down, belly to thighs. Squeeze your heels in towards your bum as if you could lift your feet up off the mat. Once you've got all that switched on, chest up, arms up, chair pose. Lift your chest, arms back, sit down. Fold forwards, belly to thighs, hands to the mat. Okay, bring your right hand to the mat in front of you, underneath your chest. Take hold of your left toe, big toe, with your middle and index finger of your left hand. Inhale, left leg, out to the side. Kick your foot away, draw your chest forwards. Switching on all the muscles in the outside of the legs, the glutes. Lift your leg higher. And release that back down. Bend your knees again, belly to thighs for our chair. Heels towards your bum, lift your chest. Come on up. And then this time, left leg. Cross your ankle above your knee, keep your foot flexed above your right knee. Keep your foot flexed with your left knee out to the side. Bring your hands down to prayer. Tuck your tailbone underneath. So I draw your lower belly in. Lift your chest. Sit down. Breathe in, sweep your arms up overhead. Step back into warrior one. Right, left heel down on the floor with your toes turned in. Left hip charges forwards, right hip charges back. Chest up, arms back. Ribs back. And you reach forwards into our warrior three. So you might be bringing your hands to the bricks or the floor. You might be reaching your arms up overhead in front of you. Wherever you are, chest forwards, arms up. Stand your left leg and flex your foot. Keep your left hip drawing down towards the mat. And then bring your right hand to a brick or the floor. Open your left hip to the side. Open your chest to the left. Sweep your left arm up and overhead. And then bend your left knee back behind you, reach back, take hold of your foot. Kick into your hand, open your hips again, lift your chest, kick into your hand. Really kick into your hand, stretch in front of your left hip, lift your chest. And we release that back down by bringing your left hand back into warrior three. Drop your left hip level with your right, flex your foot. And then nice and slowly, with control, bring your right foot through. Cross it over, cross your leg over your left leg. Arms out in front of you. Left arm underneath your right, wrap your forearms. Squeeze your legs together, sit down into eagle. Lift your elbows, hands away from your face. Sit down. Unravel, step back, high lunge. Interlace your fingers behind your back, lift your chest. Sit down, lift your chest. As you breathe out next, bring your hands forwards, bring your feet forwards. Bend your knees deeply, hang like a rag doll here. So maybe you're hooking your little fingers inside your elbows. Breathing into the back of your body. Letting your head hang. Release your hands down, bend your knees. Come down to lying on your back. So bend your right knee. Bring it into your chest. Extend your left leg away. Flex your left foot. Draw your left hip down. Let your right knee come away from you a little bit. See if that makes a difference in helping you get the back of your left leg down to the mat. Keep it where it is then as you draw your right knee in a little deeper towards your chest. Notice what's happening for you here. So this is about extending the right hip, stretching the front maybe of the right hip. Sorry, the left hip, extend the left hip. And compressing the right hip, stretching the right glutes. So some people feel this more in the left leg, some people feel it more in the right leg. Just notice what you notice about yourself. Release that off. Take the opposite leg, so extend your right leg. Bring your left knee into your chest, hold onto it with your hands. Flex your right foot. Release your left knee a little to draw your right leg back down towards the mat. Keeping it where it is, then just draw the left knee in as far as it comes before it starts to affect your right leg. And again, notice here what is different for you on this side compared to the other. Which leg feels better in extension or compression? Just notice. Interesting observations of our body. Let that go then. Bend both knees. Stack them over your hips just for now. And then take the right leg. Cross it over the left like we're in our eagle. Maybe you want to tuck your toes as well behind the calf. Bring your arms out to the side at shoulder height. Keep your belly firm as you draw your knees over to the right hand side. Keep your right shoulder on the floor. Perhaps you're going to gaze down your left arm. Notice where your breath travels here. It's a little bit more constricted. As you breathe in next, bring your legs back to the centre, over to the other side. Keeping the same cross of the legs. Maybe gazing down your opposite arm. Does it feel any different in this direction? Where do you feel it the most? Come back to the centre. Uncross your legs, take the opposite cross. Maybe tucking your toes, but it doesn't really matter. Now again, drawing your knees back over to the side you just came from. Down to the mat.
Gazing down your opposite arm, perhaps keep your shoulder on the floor. Tune into your breath. Where is your breath going in this position? Where does it feel good to send it? Take your knees then back to the center, over to the opposite side. Turn your head again. Keep your opposite shoulder on the floor. Tune back into your breath. Either observe where it's going to or send it somewhere that feels good. Bring it back to the center. Unravel your knees, give them a squeeze into your chest. Maybe squeezing your forehead in as well. Letting it all go, extend your legs, hands by your sides, palms facing up. Perhaps taking a little wider stance this time. So having your legs a little bit further apart than you normally do in Shavasana, perhaps having your hands a little bit more open, so maybe you're in a bit of a star shape. Send your breath like a wave, rippling down through your chest, your belly, right down into the cavity in your pelvis, and back out the way it came in, like a wave. Carry on with this breath like a wave, observing it, washing in all the way down to the base of your pelvis, from the base of your pelvis all the way out through your nose. Stay here for as long as you want to. And when you're ready to, just come out through rolling onto one side, taking a few breaths there. Pushing your way up slowly, only keeping your eyes closed. Finding a few moments of stillness in seated. Thanks so much for joining me for your practice today. It's been a pleasure. Namaste.